Welcome to Have You Read It? The channel where we bring books to life, one summary at a time. Today we're diving into AI snake oil, what artificial intelligence can do, what it can't, and how to tell the difference. This book cuts through the hype surrounding AI, offering a clear-eyed perspective on its capabilities and limitations. The term AI is an umbrella term that encompasses a range of technologies. It's not a monolith. Generative AI, like ChatGPT, is very different from predictive AI, used in applications like loan evaluations. Generative AI includes chatbots and image generators, and predictive AI makes forecasts to guide decisions. The book defines AI snake oil as AI that doesn't and cannot work as advertised. A key societal problem is the inability to distinguish between effective AI and snake oil, which the book aims to address. Generative AI gained public attention with ChatGPT's release in November 2022, quickly going viral due to its capabilities, such as writing biblical verses or programming code. Microsoft integrated OpenAI's technology into Bing, posing a threat to Google. Google's hurried response with Bard led to errors and market value dips. Despite the excitement around generative AI, it has flaws and misuses, including error-filled AI-generated news and books. However, generative AI can also be beneficial when used appropriately, offering research assistance and automating tasks. Image generators like DALL-E, Firefly, and Midjourney have also exploded in popularity, enabling endless entertainment possibilities such as customized images and fake movie trailers. Concerns have arisen regarding the appropriation of creative labor and the potential for surveillance. AI was a major point of contention during the 2023 Hollywood strikes, with actors worried about studios using their likenesses without compensation. Adjusting to a world with generative AI requires effort to integrate it appropriately with careful consideration of ethics and potential legal issues. Predictive AI aims to forecast future outcomes to inform decision-making in areas like policing, inventory management, and hiring. However, its effectiveness is questionable, and it can lead to harmful consequences. Examples of failures of predictive AI include Medicare providers using it to determine patient discharge times, insurance companies using it to determine insurance rates, and criminal justice systems employing it to assess the risk of defendants. Predictive AI's flaws include its inability to account for the impact of its own decisions, incentives for gaming the system, and exacerbating existing inequalities. The label of AI is inconsistently applied across different technologies with no consensus on its definition. AI is described as whatever hasn't been done yet, with technologies fading into the background once they become reliable. Facial recognition exemplifies the double-edged nature of AI. While highly accurate, it can lead to false arrests and be used for mass surveillance. A nuanced approach involves democratic debate and guardrails to prevent abuse. The book stemmed from concerns about AI snake oil, particularly in hiring automation, with the aim to provide readers with tools to distinguish genuine progress from hype. The AI hype vortex is fueled by researchers, companies, and the media, contributing to misinformation and misunderstanding. Flawed research, overhyped products, and sensationalized news stories damage public understanding. The book's goal is to identify AI snake oil and differentiate it from AI that works, focusing on both the truthfulness and potential harm of AI applications. Chapter 2 explores how predictive AI goes wrong, highlighting automated decision-making failures in areas like education, healthcare, and criminal justice. Automated decision-making systems are used across various domains, making predictions about individuals and allocating scarce resources. Predictive AI uses past data to find patterns and predict future outcomes, but it assumes people with similar characteristics will behave similarly. Predictive AI is increasingly used by hospitals, employers, and insurance providers. Shortcomings of predictive AI include good predictions resulting in bad decisions, opaque AI incentivizing gaming, over-automation, predictions about the wrong people, and the exacerbation of existing inequalities. Automated welfare fraud detection systems have led to wrongful accusations and financial ruin for many families, highlighting the dangers of over-automation. Racial biases can be embedded in AI due to historic inequalities. The discomfort society experiences with randomness can lead to a search for patterns where none exist, which paves the way for biases and the overemphasis on merit. Chapter 3 questions the extent to which AI can predict the future. Examining the history of predicting the future using computers and the limitations of predictive AI. Not all predictions are hard, and predictive AI can be useful under certain conditions. However, there are inherent limits to how predictable the future is. The Fragile Families Challenge revealed that predicting children's life outcomes is difficult, and complex AI models perform only slightly better than basic statistical models. The challenge revealed that high irreducible error in prediction of social outcomes arises from how many samples we use to determine our AI. This results in uncertainty when using past data to make decisions. It is also worth noting that when data for training AI come from a different population than what the AI is used on, it can cause poor results. Success depends heavily on luck due to rich-get-richer dynamics. And what often makes social media content go viral can be random, but not completely. It is more likely to occur when more partisan and more negative content is used. Aggregate social outcomes are difficult to predict due to a lack of historical examples, limited data, biases, and constantly changing conditions. Chapter 4 examines the long road to generative AI, tracing its evolution from early neural networks to modern chatbots and image generators. Generative AI has a history dating back 80 years. Built on innovations like the McCulloch-Pitts neuron model and the Rosenblatt perceptron, neural network research has cycled through periods of popularity and decline with the advent of backpropagation and GPUs, leading to the deep learning revolution. ImageNet was a pivotal dataset that spurred significant progress in computer vision and shaped the culture of AI research. Image classification and generation involve training neural networks to recognize patterns and concepts with deep neural networks that learn successive complex concepts, encoding more with layers. Generative AI appropriates creative labor. AI for image classification can become AI for surveillance. Text generation relies on large language models, trained to predict the next word in a sequence, and can be used to classify and generate text. The transformer architecture and techniques like fine-tuning enable chatbots to follow instructions and generate coherent responses. The need for data for training has led to large-scale labor in countries outside of the United States and Europe. Challenges with generative AI include automating bullshit, deepfakes, fraud, malicious uses, and cost of improvement. Chapter 5 addresses the question of whether advanced AI poses an existential threat, examining the arguments for and against this claim. The ladder of generality illustrates the gradual increase in AI flexibility and capability, and the concept of rogue AI rests on flawed premises. A better approach to managing AI risks involves defending against specific threats, rather than attempting a global ban on powerful AI. Chapter 6 explores the limitations of AI in fixing social media, particularly in content moderation, highlighting issues such as context dependence, cultural incompetence, and strategic evasion. AI's limitation causes problems of over- and under-enforcement. Reasons why AI can't fix social media include AI's troubles with nuances in understanding content and problems from limited data that result in cultural incompetence. Facebook's content moderation policies have led to real-world violence. AI excels at predicting the past and relies on fingerprint matching and human moderation. The ability of AI to go up against human ingenuity is limited as humans evade content moderation. It imposes a matter of life and death upon the system when it comes to mental health. as suicide content that goes unmoderated can lead to a user taking their own life. Regulation must exist to keep things in check. Due to the limitations, regulation of AI is tough and nuanced. However, some point out a lack of oversight. For the social AI, many of the struggles are structural. Chapter 7 analyzes why myths about AI persist, examining the roles of companies, researchers, journalists, and public figures in spreading hype, and how cognitive biases contribute to the problem. AI hype differs from previous technology hype, and the AI community has a culture and history of hype that results in overconfidence. Companies have few incentives for transparency. The reproducibility crisis in AI research and news media contributes to the problem. The public can be more easily misled. Public figures can often spread AI hype. Cognitive biases lead us astray. The final chapter, Chapter 8, is focused on where do we go from here. AI snake oil is appealing to broken institutions, and embracing randomness can help improve decisions. Regulation also has the ability to help prevent problems that would otherwise occur without it. AI also has implications in the future of work. The chapter uses Maya's world to illustrate the effect of AI in society. AI snake oil is appealing to broken institutions. What can happen when broken institutions are paired with the appealing AI is that it leads to a high demand for AI snake oil. Broken institutions often attempt to solve problems by rearranging policies, in addition to seeking out help from AI snake oils. This is why broken institutions and AI snake oils tend to go hand in hand. In the book, they touch upon things such as the impact of AI in a world full of broken institutions and the temptation to embrace the alluring optimization mindset that they bring. And they ultimately determine that these are bad things to do. Embracing randomness. Randomness is a powerful tool for improving broken institutions. It may seem counterintuitive, but that doesn't make it any less true. They show that lotteries can be used to allocate resources, such as where funds should go, and the lotteries, through reducing feedback loops and waste, would result in a number of tangible improvements. Regulation, cutting through the false dichotomy. For things to improve, companies need to be regulated. In the absence of regulation, companies are driven by profit and may be able to get away with putting their business interests over doing what is good and safe for people. For example, with Epic, they found that there was a lot of upside to cutting costs and implementing AI. There must also be limitations for regulation, and the government needs to avoid regulatory capture. Overall, a balance must be struck. AI and the future of work. The future of AI for those who are not wealthy is not bright. It will force workers to work harder and get paid less, for instance. AI is merely another point in the history of society where it has become clear that we must strengthen safety nets. Growing up with the I in Kai's and Maya's worlds. To help us understand and keep in mind the importance of how we treat the coming AI in tech booms, the author contrasts two possible futures. Growing up with AI in Kai's world, high-risk negative and overly regulating AI. Growing up with AI in Maya's world, managed risk acknowledges it and tries to do something about it. The book's main takeaway is to be skeptical of AI hype and recognize the inherent limitations of AI. Particularly in predictive applications, the most important and useful tool is healthy skepticism. Here are some heuristics to remember. Be skeptical of claims about AI's ability to predict human behavior. Look for evidence, not just claims. Consider the incentives of those making claims about AI. Be aware of cognitive biases that make us susceptible to hype. Consider the importance of domain expertise. Thanks for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss our next book dive.